Welcome guys to the problem solving coding questions tutorial from your host and host by Mr. Suraj Pawar from LeadSoft IT Solutions. So guys, in a last playlist, what we have understand is how we guys can solve the pseudo codes. There are 5 different levels of pseudo codes, and we have solved some actual Accenture pseudocode solutions also. Well, the most important aspect where the coding questions evaluation will comes in picture, and that completely decides whether you guys are going to crack this round or not. And for this we have collected some Accenture last coding questions along with samples, and some of the questions are there along with the secret test cases also. So we are in this tutorial we are trying to get that understand and make them converts, and we will let us check with that how we guys can able to make them evaluate. So here is the first question. These questions have been asked in many of the time slots from the Accenture. The question title came as a fine number, and it mentioned the problem statement. Okay, let me just maximize it. So as you guys can see, this is the problem statement, and in the problem statement they have given some default coding editor also, where the fine number, this question or this function is already there, which has two array of a and b with their sizes of m and n. Okay, so what is this fine number question exactly describes all about? Well, for each and every question, the first thing that you guys needs to do is you have to understand the problem description and what exactly they want the code from us. After that, they have some input strategies also. You can check with the inputs, you can check with the outputs along with the explanation to cross confirm the logic that we guys have received from the description. Well, apart from this, there are some more important thing that we guys have to be check out is a part of constraint and very important instructions. Okay, so here we are. Let us try to make them understand what is this problem question defines as so far. So the fine number, it defines as, okay, we have to create a function, or maybe the function is given there in a editor, so which has two arrays by the name of a and b. So we have two array here by the name of a first and b, then with the sizes of m and n respectively. That means the sizes of a and b's are also given, and we have to implement the function, okay, to compute a fine number and return that function from that respective function that we are going to be describes. Well, again in this same approach, what we guys needs to be followed here is the logic of fine number. What is the fine number? The fine number is the greatest number that can be obtained by taking the difference of two numbers such that one of the two number is taken from array A and other taken from array B. So I have to take two numbers right there. One is from array A and other number is from array B, and I have to find out their differences and what will be the greatest number from that differences. I have to be written it out from that function itself. So for this logic, what we can get here is we have two arrays. So let us try to solve along with the first given input and output, and then we will definitely write the code either in a Python programming or in a C programming. So let us do with that. So here we are. So coming to the given input and output, so you guys can see this is the input and output. So we have the n, that is what we can say the size of a. So you can see the size of a is 5 and m is the size of b, that is what 6, and the output of this question is 88. How it is 88? The greatest difference of between the element a, that is what 1, and the element is 89. So the greatest difference we can say 1 minus 89 or 89 minus 1, that is 88. It returns with right there. So likewise for every single element I have to check for the differences, which means I have to execute a for loop. Okay, first thing that I need to do is I have to define any maximum difference to any certain of initial values, and well, I will be iterate the elements from the array A, and then I will iterate the elements from the array B, and I will find out the maximum difference or the difference of the element. And if that difference is greater than the existed maximum difference, then we will try to update the value. So which means first thing that I need to do, okay, let me just get it convert to the editor. Then we will write the code, and there itself we will check how the things are going to be work. So for this I am going to be work as a Python here. So Python ideally I am going to be opened. So let me just create a new file. Let me close this, all the editings which I did. So I am going to create a new file right there, and here we are. So this I'm going to put it here so that I can get with the inputs. So as per the problem statement, I have to create a function. Or what is the function name? Find number. So here I'm going to say def. Okay, function name is what? Find number. Those are having we can say two arguments, because the length of a and b in Python we can able to evaluate. So I'm going to put it as a and b. Well, how we can able to evaluate? As per the problem statement, I have to take the maximum difference. So I'm going to create a result variable that is going to shape initially to the maximum value. Maybe the difference comes in float or integer, whatever it may be. So I'm going to take it to the maximum value, and if we don't know what is the maximum value, so we can define to the none by setting either the integer of or a float of directly as -inf. The -inf defines an infinity that would be the lowest maximum value for that respective elements. Well, as per the approach to find the fine number, okay, what is the fine number it mentioned? The fine number is the greatest number that can be obtained by the difference of two numbers. Well, from these two numbers, any first number is going to take it from A and other first number is going to take it from B, which means I have to iterate over A and B, and I have to extract that elements, and if that elements are having the maximum difference, I have to set my existing value of results to that. So well, for this how I'm going to write the code. So first I'm going to iterate over the A. So as we can directly iterate, we did not require the indexing position. So I'm going to use the dynamic for loop over there. If you guys haven't seen our Python tutorial, please get back here and goes for the playlist here, and you guys can search for the Python tutorial for the beginners, and there itself you guys can check all the tutorials, so that whatever I'm talking about right now is what is dynamic for loop, what is static for loop, everything you guys will get an idea over to that. Now let's get back once again here. So as per the problem statement, I have to iterate from the A. So I just say element 1, okay, in array A, and I have to take the second element also, that would be I'm going to say as element 2 from the array B. So again for element 2 in that B. Well, what I need to do, I have to find out the absolute difference between the element 1 and element 2 in such a way that first element is going to take it from array A and the second element is going to take it from array B. So that I'm going to store that all the values in a temp variable right there. So I'm going to say temp equals to, I want absolute value. So EBS of this element 1 minus element 2. You can switch that position also, that doesn't matters, because anyway we are going to take an absolute values. So first we will find out that temp, and after the finding out the temp, well, this temp is the current difference of the element. What I need to do is I have to find out the maximum difference that I'm going to store it in a result. So what I'm going to do next is, if my temp is greater than that result. So I'm going to check whatever the temp I am calculating right now with working of current value of A and the current value of B from the array. If that difference is greater than that result value, well, in that case, I'm going to update that result equals to temp here. So by this logic of execution of for loops and decision control, I'm going to update that value of maximum difference at all the aspects. And after completion of for, now I will close the if. Now I will close the nested for. I will close the main for, and here I am going to return that result which will be storing the maximum difference from these both element, and that would be our find number. Now to make them run, I'm going to execute this given inputs and output. Okay, first input is what? Array A is 1 2 3 4 5. So let me write here.
Hello YouTube, welcome coders to the core Python tutorials for the beginning,
It is running in a background. Sorry for the disturbance. So here we have the array A adds, like, what is the value? 1 2 3 4 5. So here is the array B, that is what? 10 12 34 2 4 and 89. Well, what I'm going to do the next is I'm going to call them by the find number, and as it returns the value, so I'm going to print out here directly. So I will call this number function as find number by putting the A and P. Now let me save this. So I'm going to say Accenture code as find number. All right, now let us run these questions on the given input and output. So I'm going to run the question, and here you guys can see the same result is also going to be executes. Okay, now get back to the second inputs and output. Let us try to check. Well, in that case, it is going to work or not. So we have next input here, you guys can see, that is 6 7 8 11, and the B is 3 1 2. Okay, let us calculate the B. 3 1 2. Now again save, let us run. So the output is what? 10. Let us cross confirm here. Yeah, the output is what? 10 right there. So this is how we guys can able to evaluate that questions easily right there from the Accenture. Okay, so in a find number, as they have mentioned, you can again come up here in the question description, you can see. So we have to implement a function. Maybe that function is given in the editor, or we have to type it. So using these ways we can able to make that happen. What is the find number they mention is find number is the greatest number that can be obtained by taking the difference of two numbers, and out of these two number, one number is taken by the A and other number is taken by the B. Same approach we have followed right there. First we have initialized the default value of results, and then we are iterating from the A because I want one number from the A and I want other number from the B. So in this time, first I am calculating their difference, okay, absolute difference, and if that difference is greater than the current result, then we are updating the result to the temp. And this is how we guys can able to evaluate this question. I hope you guys have understand how this question of a find number can be get evaluated. If you guys have liked this logic, or if you guys have understood something from the logic, please do like this video, do share, do subscribes also, share to the needful people. Stay tuned for the next video tutorial. There itself we guys are going to check how to solve again more coding questions those I've asked in Accenture.